When you finally understand that your mind creates your reality, something inside you shifts forever. You stop waiting for motivation to arrive, you stop waiting for life to magically become easier, and you stop assuming that strength, discipline, clarity, or peace will just be there whenever you need them. That assumption is the biggest mistake people make. They treat the mind like something that will always support them, even if they never invest in it. But the truth is simple: your mind is exactly like a muscle. If you don't train it, it weakens. If you don't guide it, it gets lost. And if you don't protect it, the world will fill it with chaos, noise, and negativity. Most people walk through life with a mind full of thoughts that don't even belong to them, opinions from others, fears from childhood, doubts created by society, and limitations taught by people who gave up on their own dreams. They assume their mind will carry them regardless of what they feed it. They assume it will always be strong when challenges come. They assume it will always be positive when life gets dark. But assuming your mind will always be there is a mistake. It needs attention. It needs direction. It needs training. When you train your mind intentionally, you start living intentionally. You begin choosing your thoughts instead of letting your thoughts choose you. That's where real freedom starts. Every morning you wake up with the chance to direct your mental energy toward growth, success, peace, and purpose. But if you don't make that choice, your mind automatically goes back to old patterns: fear, overthinking, stress, self-doubt, and negative self-talk. These patterns are not natural, they are learned, and anything learned can be unlearned. But unlearning requires awareness, and awareness requires effort. Think about the people who changed their lives in the biggest ways. They didn't do it because the world suddenly supported them. They did it because they mastered their mindset. They taught their minds to stay focused when the world got loud. They taught their minds to believe when nothing around them looked promising. They taught their minds to choose discipline over comfort, clarity over confusion, peace over drama, and courage over fear. They didn't assume their mind would stay strong, they made it strong. Your mind responds to what you repeatedly give it. Feed it negativity, it will grow doubts. Feed it distractions, it will lose focus. Feed it comparison, it will destroy your confidence. But feed it intention, it becomes powerful. Feed it self-discipline, it becomes unstoppable. Feed it gratitude, it becomes peaceful. Feed it vision, it becomes creative. Everything begins inside you before it becomes real outside you. This is why protecting your mind is not just a suggestion, it's a necessity. You can't become your highest self if you're living with a mind full of noise. You can't walk your own path if your mind is crowded with the fears and opinions of others. You can't build your future if your mind is stuck in memories from your past. Your peace, your clarity, your growth, your power, all of it starts with the thoughts you allow and the thoughts you reject. So today, stop assuming your mind will always be strong just because you want it to be. Strength comes from training. Focus comes from discipline. Peace comes from boundaries. And transformation comes from choosing your mindset every single day. Your mind is your greatest power. Start using it like it matters, because it does. Protecting your peace isn't just about avoiding stress. It's about understanding that your mental environment shapes every decision, every reaction, and every outcome in your life. Most people make the mistake of assuming their peace will always be there, that they can let everyone in, absorb every opinion, entertain every distraction, and somehow still stay centered. But peace doesn't work like that. It's fragile, it's valuable, and it requires intentional protection. If you don't guard it, the world will take it from you piece by piece without you even noticing. Every day your mind is exposed to noise, social media, news, arguments, expectations, comparisons, and the never-ending pressure to be something for everybody. You think you can handle it all. You think your peace is strong enough to survive constant storms. You think you can keep giving, listening, absorbing, and carrying other people's problems without losing yourself. But assuming your peace will always stay intact without boundaries is a mistake. Peace is not permanent, it must be defended. The truth is, not everyone deserves access to your mind. Not everyone deserves your energy. Not every voice deserves a place in your thoughts. But people forget this. They let negativity enter their life because they don't want to offend anyone. They stay around draining people because they don't want to be alone. They keep listening to criticism because they think it will make them stronger. They let toxic situations continue because they think peace will somehow rebuild itself later. But peace doesn't rebuild itself, you rebuild it. And you rebuild it by making hard choices. Protecting your peace means learning to say no without guilt. It means walking away from conversations that disturb your clarity. It means distancing yourself from people who manipulate your emotions. It means removing yourself from environments that encourage stress instead of growth. When you start setting boundaries, people may not like it, but your future will thank you for it. Because peace is not about pleasing others, it's about preserving yourself. You cannot reach your potential in a chaotic mental environment. You can't grow in a place where your mind is constantly battling noise. You need mental space to think, to dream, to imagine, to reflect. You need silence to hear your intuition. You need calmness to make good decisions. You need peace to build discipline. That is why protecting your peace is protecting your future. And sometimes, protecting your peace means letting go, even of people you thought would always be there. Because assuming someone will always respect your boundaries, always care about your well-being, always support your growth is a mistake. People change, situations change, intentions change, and if you don't stay aware, you'll lose yourself trying to hold on to someone who isn't holding on to you. Your peace is your responsibility. Nobody can protect it for you. Nobody can choose what enters your mind except you. You must decide who gets close, who stays at a distance, and who does not belong in your life at all. This isn't cold. It's necessary. Your peace is the filter that keeps your mind clear, strong, and ready for the life you're building. What you focus on becomes the direction of your life, and most people don't realize how powerful that truth really is. They assume their mind will naturally stay focused on the right things. They assume clarity will always be there. They assume they can fill their days with noise, drama, and distractions, and still move forward with purpose. But assuming your focus will always show up when you need it is a mistake. Focus is not automatic. It's a choice. It's a discipline. It's a commitment you make every day to yourself and your future. Your mind is constantly building something. Every thought, every belief, every fear, every intention, your mind takes it and turns it into momentum. And here's the real truth. Your mind doesn't stop creating just because you stop paying attention. If you focus on fears, your mind builds more fears. If you focus on problems, your mind magnifies them. If you focus on comparison, your confidence breaks down piece by piece. And if you focus on distractions, your purpose becomes blurry. But when you choose to direct your focus toward gratitude, growth, discipline, and vision, your mind begins to build a stronger, more powerful version of you. The problem is that too many people live with scattered attention. They're constantly switching between what matters and what doesn't. They give energy to people who drain them, to situations that don't help them, to thoughts that weaken them. They allow their mind to wander to places that destroy their peace. They believe they can give their focus to everything and still grow, but that's impossible. Focus becomes growth only when it's concentrated, not when it's scattered. Think about the most successful achievers in any field. They didn't rise to success because they were lucky. They rose because they understood the power of focus. They protected it. They guarded it. They worked on it every day. They didn't assume their focus would always be there. They built their life around strengthening it. They removed distractions. They limited negative influences. They stopped giving attention to people who weren't aligned with their vision. They chose their priorities carefully and stayed loyal to them, even when life tried to pull them in 100 different directions. Your life will start to shift the moment you stop assuming you can do everything and still become the person you want to be. You need to decide what deserves your attention and what doesn't. You need to decide who deserves a place in your mind and who doesn't. You need to choose whether you want to build growth or build excuses, because your mind can only build what you focus on. Focus also requires honesty. You must be honest about the habits that distract you, the people who drain you, and the thoughts that damage your peace. You must admit when you are giving too much energy to the wrong things. When you do that, your mind becomes clear. And when your mind becomes clear, your life becomes powerful. Don't assume that the things that matter will always matter if you don't nurture them. Don't assume your goals will stay alive if you stop feeding them. Don't assume your progress will continue if you stop focusing. Everything you want requires your attention, and everything you ignore slowly dies. So choose your focus with intention. Protect it like it's treasure. Pour your energy only into what builds you, strengthens you, and moves you forward. Because what you focus on grows, and when you focus on the life you want, eventually that life becomes your reality. Every single day, your thoughts are shaping the direction of your life, whether you realize it or not. Thought is not something small, something passive, something that just passes through your mind without consequence. Thought is energy. Thought is influence. Thought is momentum, and most people make the mistake of believing they can think anything, feel anything, entertain any fear or doubt, and their future will still somehow unfold the way they want. They assume their mind will always attract the right opportunities even if they constantly feed it negativity. They assume belief will always be there even when they give more attention to fear. They assume confidence will always return even when they let insecurity sit in the driver's seat. But assuming your thoughts will always support you is a mistake. Your thoughts must be chosen with intention. Every future you ever dream about starts with a single thought, a thought of possibility, a thought of courage, a thought of, I can do this. But if you don't protect that thought, life will drown it out. People will challenge it. Circumstances will test it. Fear will try to erase it. Your mind cannot attract greatness if all you allow inside it is heaviness. Your future cannot open if your thoughts are locked in old patterns. A powerful future requires powerful thinking, because your thoughts are the starting point of everything that becomes real. When you think low, you live low. When you think small, your world becomes small. When you think you're not enough, life will keep showing you reasons to believe it. But when you shift your thoughts, even a little, you shift your direction. The moment you train your mind to think in alignment with the life you want, instead of the life you fear, things begin to change. You start to see opportunities instead of obstacles. You start to notice progress instead of problems. You start to attract people who match your energy instead of people who drain it. But this doesn't happen accidentally. It happens because you choose your thoughts every single day. You choose to think stronger than your fear. You choose to think bigger than your limitations. You choose to speak power into your life instead of repeating old stories of failure. You choose to think like someone who is building a future, not someone who is trapped in a past. That's what transforms your mindset. That's what transforms your reality. Your thoughts are also connected to your peace. You can't have a peaceful life with chaotic thinking. You can't attract calmness with anxious thoughts. You can't attract success with a defeated mindset. Peace, growth, clarity, and confidence all begin with the thoughts you allow to stay. Your mind listens to you. Your life listens to your mind. And your future listens to the thoughts you repeat. If those thoughts are full of fear, you attract fear. If they're full of strength, you attract strength. If they're full of vision, you attract opportunity. This is why it's dangerous to assume your thinking will always support you without effort. Good thinking doesn't just show up. Belief doesn't stay alive on its own. You must feed your mind with the thoughts that build your future, not the thoughts that break it. You must protect your inner dialogue the same way you protect your peace, because they are connected. The wrong thoughts can destroy your peace, and the right thoughts can rebuild your entire life. So choose wisely, choose intentionally, choose thoughts that match the person you're becoming, not the person you're trying to outgrow. Because when your thoughts rise, your life rises with them.